Hello, fifth graders. Hopefully, you can hear me and see me. I hope you guys are doing well. We miss you so much. I'm here in my classroom because the internet at my house doesn't work very well. So, I'm actually going to read you just a few pages of the next chapter in the Egypt game. I'm going to start on page 151. And I'm going to reach a point after a couple of pages where I'm going to stop and ask you a question. And I want you to respond in my Google Classroom. So, okay, here we go. You can follow along with me if you want. I'm on page 151. The Oracle Speaks. The next day, by prearrangement, all the Egyptians met in the alley and entered the land of Egypt together. Toby said that was necessary so no one would have a chance to fool around with the oracle before anyone was there. Once inside the yard, everyone looked at Toby, but Toby looked at April. Okay, Bastet, he said, you wanted to be the oracle priestess, so today it's your turn. You can do the ceremony of returning to the oracle for the answer. That is, unless you don't think you can think up a good answer. I can think of answers to anything, April said, but I thought you were expecting the oracle to do its own answers. Or did you change your mind? Oh no, Toby said. I didn't change my mind. I just thought you ought to have some good answers ready just in case. So let's get going. So April took charge. To get everyone in the mood, she got the box of costumes out of the shed and had everyone put something on. A headdress or a robe or at least some jewelry. Then she set the scene. Okay, she said, Horemheb, the famous general, has come on a pilgrimage to the grotto of the Oracle of Thoth to ask a terribly important question. He arrived at the grotto a few days ago and asked his question, and since then he has been fasting in a holy cell while he waits for the answer. You know, people who were going to the oracle had to prepare themselves very carefully, so they usually shut themselves up for days without any food and meditated until they felt very pure and sort of dizzy, and then they were ready to go. So that's what you've been doing, Ken. Ken looked self-conscious, and Melanie made a funny, smothered sound. April was careful not to catch her eye. She knew that Melanie was trying not to laugh at the idea of solid old Ken being pure and dizzy. April hurried on. The rest of us are priests and attendants of the oracle, and I'm the high priestess who's the only one who can go into the altar room where the oracle gives out the answers. Next, April had everyone help make some twisted paper logs to burn in the sacred fire bowl, and then she lined them all up for a procession to the grotto. Remember, a procession is like a parade. Ken was in the middle of the place of honor, and April demonstrated to him how he should walk with his hands crossed over his chest and his eyes sort of rolled up. April herself led the procession, and when they had gone twice around the yard, I hope you guys are visualizing this, she lined everyone up on the edge of the temple, and then she approached the altar alone. First, she lit the candles and the incense and the sacred fire and put the fire bowl on the floor in front of the altar. On the altar, Thoth still sat with the slip of paper in his beak. Hopefully you remember from the previous chapter they'd said that they put questions and they stuck it in his beak, exactly as they'd left him the night before. April bowed low before him and started in on an elaborate ceremony using some of the old things they'd done before and some new ones she'd just thought up. She walked around the altar backwards 3 times, sprinkling holy water. She pulled out 3 hairs from her head and dropped them on the fire. Then she sat down cross-legged between the fire and the altar and began to chant. Melanie sat down too on the edge of the temple floor and motioned for the others to do the same. I, April chanted, making her voice go up and down the scale. And along the edge of the temple, the other Egyptians took it up. When the wailing chant was going strong, April suddenly cried, Stop! The mighty Thoth has heard us. The oracle has spoken. And very slowly and dramatically, with her eyes half closed and her face smoothed into a dreamlike calmness, April raised her arms above her head and with both hands took the message from the beak of Thoth. Very, very slowly, she brought it down to eye level and unfolded it. She read it carefully and then turned it over and read the other side. Her calmly regal high priestess expression faded, and she frowned as she read each side again. Then she stood up and stomped out of the temple. The rest of the Egyptians jumped up. Okay, April said, who's the wise guy? Wise guy? What's the matter? What does it say? Everybody was talking at once. What did you write on this paper yesterday? April asked Ken. What was your question? And Ken shrugged. I don't know, he said. Just some dumb stuff about if I was going to be a star in the big leagues someday. April held out the slip of paper and everybody crowded around to look. In Ken's large, neat handwriting, it said, Will I be a big league star someday? I think he means big league baseball star. Yeah, that's it, Ken said. That's what I wrote. But then April turned the paper over, so the other side was visible. And in a very different handwriting, small and jittery, there was written, Man is his own star, and that soul who can be honest is the only perfect man. How about that? April asked. Did you write that too? Me? Ken said in astonishment. No way! I didn't have time to write all that. Besides, I don't even know what it means. So, I'm finished reading, and I want you to post an answer to this question. Who wrote the answer on the back of Ken's question? Who wrote, Man is his own star, and that soul who can be honest is the only perfect man? Who wrote that? And why do you think that person wrote it? I hope I hear from all of you. Have a great day. Bye.